Through the Moon, the excellent graphic novel released after the end of Season 3 of The Dragon Prince, ends on something of a cliffhanger. Rayla learns that Viren is not dead. No, she does not have any definitive proof of this, but she has a feeling that she can't ignore. It just keeps nagging at her. She has seen Viren in the land of the dead after entering the Moon Nexus, which should mean that he's dead, otherwise she wouldn't see him there. But something's not right. He looks strange. He's inside this cocoon, as though he's kind of become one with Eryth. She knows this isn't right. She knows it's not just like he's died a normal death. Something has happened to him. And though she doesn't have complete confirmation that he has been brought back to life, this feeling she's had in her for a while that says he's not dead has only intensified. It's only gotten a lot stronger over time. But again, she doesn't have proof. So the question is, what is she willing to sacrifice? What is she willing to let go of in order to chase this vague inkling of an idea that Viren is still alive? The basic truth is that she's willing to sacrifice quite a lot. She's willing to sacrifice her comfort and her security, and she's willing to sacrifice her own personal well-being, physical and mental, as the journey to go after Viren won't be easy. She has no real proof of where he is, and traveling alone through a war-torn world is a perilous adventure. But even though she is willing to make all these sacrifices, she is not willing to sacrifice Callum. It's the old, I'm leaving you because I need to protect you trope. And I'm normally not a big fan of that trope at all. But for Rayla right here, it works. It makes sense in regards to her character. This is what she would do. What motivates Rayla? She's motivated by her impulsiveness. She's motivated by her lack of emotional openness. And she's motivated by a kind of narrow, perhaps myopic idea of what being a hero is. For her, being a hero means sacrificing everything and going on every adventure and taking on any challenge in order to secure justice and peace and protect those you care about. So of course she leaves Callum behind. Of course she doesn't wake him up and say that she's going to be chasing after Viren. She just leaves him guessing. It fits her character, but the question is, what does this all lead to? What will result from it? Rayla has made her decision, but what will be the after effects of that decision? Let's investigate further. I don't doubt Rayla and Callum are going to see each other again, even though showrunner Aaron Ahas has been increasingly cagey about this. He said in a Reddit AMA that he can't say whether the two of them will ever see each other again. Now, do I think there's a chance of them never seeing each other again? No, not particularly. Admittedly, that would be a huge twist if Rayla or Callum are dead by the time the other sees them again, but I really don't think that's going to happen. I'd place the odds at least 99 out of 100 that they are going to see each other again. However, his comments are not completely invalid, because it might be a while before they see each other again. It might not be right at the start of Season 4. The moment of their reunion might be delayed and delayed by the show in order to produce more narrative tension. The two of them have spent the full 3 seasons of the show, plus the graphic novel, together. They've grown to rely on each other. So what will happen when they're apart from each other? What will happen when they don't have each other to rely upon? I can't expect it will be particularly promising. Especially because the peace that comes about at the end of Season 3 likely will not last. Likely it will not be so long before that peace collapses and the world of the Dragon Prince reverts back to tension and conflict. Rayla may have this very strong feeling that Viren is in fact alive, and Callum might be willing to go along with that because he loves her and he cares about her and he wants what's best for her, but Rayla will have a much more difficult time convincing other people who were there at the battle that Viren is still alive. Everyone saw him die, and it was not an ambiguous death. His body was pretty much mutilated. Dark magic seems like a rather esoteric thing. Not everyone knows the rules, and I highly doubt a lot of people believe that dark magic can be used to bring someone back from the dead. We, the viewers, did not know it could be used for this purpose until Claudia manages to bring Viren back from the dead. So the rest of the world is kind of clueless right now. They're in a state of blissful ignorance. They don't know what's happened to Claudia. They don't know what's happened to Eryth, with him spinning himself into his cocoon and concocting his next plans. These people don't know that Viren is still alive, and depending on what happens, he might be entering back into scheming with his daughter and Eryth. All of this is extraordinarily rich with dramatic irony. We, the audience, know what the truth is. We, the audience, know what is going to happen, but the people of this world simply do not. And so we're kind of on edge, waiting for them to find out, and knowing what kind of chaos might result when they do find out. Adding on to this is the tension in the alliance between elves and humans. It was a temporary alliance. It's not like the relations between these two groups have suddenly become solved. It's not like they hold hands and sing Kumbaya now. This was an alliance of convenience. When Viren is marching on you with a bunch of dark magic zombies, you might be tempted to forego your former enmity with other groups of people and unite against the common enemy. But despite what the axiom says, the enemy of an enemy is not necessarily a friend. The enemy of an enemy is just an enemy you happen to have a common interest with. And once that common interest breaks down, it's very possible that violence could erupt again. So as we start in Season 4, we should probably look out for these tensions. We should look out for these anxieties. We shouldn't pretend that it's going to be a long and prosperous peace. Fighting is going to start relatively soon. And again, because of Viren, and because of Claudia, and because of Eryth, the world is in terrible danger, but no one seems to know it. And I highly doubt they will believe Rayla once she tells them. She would just be this sort of Cassandra figure. Someone who receives a vision of what will happen in the future, but goes unbelieved. And this frightening, despondent, inauspicious world is the world Callum is going to have to trek through if he is going to find Rayla. It's a world that does not approve of relations between elves and humans. Not really, certainly not romantic relations, save for a few isolated pockets of tolerance. Callum is going to have to trek through this hostile world in hopes of finding the person he loves, and in hopes of stopping her, perhaps, from making a decision that is not the best for her. Rayla is very cunning, and she's intelligent, and I don't mean to condescend to her, but she is rather bullheaded and impulsive. She can make a lot of poor decisions that she grows to regret. The last two times she went off to confront Viren, she almost died. The first being at the end of Season 3, wherein Callum had to save her by swooping down with his wings, and the second being in the graphic novel, Through the Moon, wherein Callum has to go down and rescue her to kind of prevent her from being stuck in this limbo world between life and death. Remember all this, because Callum certainly will. He will not forget that Rayla is very prone to charging into challenges if she believes that charging in is the right and moral thing to do. She does not make a lot of practical considerations, and this can be to her detriment. That said, it's not like Rayla is the only person with a cause for concern. It's not like I want to present this as Callum needing to save her. She needs to save him just as much. They're stronger when they're together. When they're apart, when they're isolated, they don't have nearly as good of a shot, especially in this world, which is probably going to be rapidly darkening throughout Season 4 for the reasons I've described above. To give Callum credit, he has grown from the person he was at the start of the series. He's no longer so timid and frightful. He's grown bold and confident, but he lacks that gung-ho attitude that powers Rayla. Think back to the end of Season 3 of The Dragon Prince. Callum, along with some others, was willing to run. He was willing to just get out of the path of Viren's armies instead of facing Viren. But for Rayla, this was not acceptable. She had in mind the reputation her parents had as being traitors. Now, this reputation was not true. Her parents were not traitors or cowards, but because that was the perception, she has always felt the need to prove to the other members of the elven community that she is not a coward or a traitor, that she can fight. And so she convinces Callum to fight with her, and they do, and they mostly succeed. It's a decisive victory, especially with the help of the elves. Callum and Rayla complement each other. Bravery without caution is foolishness, whereas caution without bravery is cowardice. There needs to be a balance between the two attributes. Callum and Rayla splitting apart would be immensely disadvantageous for them at any stage of their journey. The two of them have really grown to rely on each other. But especially heading into Season 4, a season which is likely going to be darker than previous seasons. A season where humans and elves are likely going to see the alliance between them break down, and thus start engaging in a lot of infighting, even as the real terror of Viren and Claudia and Erebos lingers in the distance. Set in the backdrop of this inauspicious scenario, Rayla and Callum breaking up, even temporarily, and heading their separate ways, is not going to be good for either of them. It's especially threatening, and I hope they get back together soon. So thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant and thoughtful and empathetic show that's so lovely, so powerful, and it's only getting better with time. I cannot wait to see what they do with it in Season 4. It's really going to be something special. I can't wait. So anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I promise you all that. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.